4 in 10 people believe in ghosts. Over a third of people believe intelligent life exists outside of Earth. 43% of people believe demons exist. There are unexplained phenomena happening daily around the globe, and we are here to talk about it. Your portal into UFOs, paranormal, cryptids, the supernatural, the mysterious, the unknown. I see you. This is Beyond the Radar, and this is your host, humanoid Tom Conway.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Beyond the Radar, your paranormal news program. And right now, I'm going to get you hype.
Good morning. In less than an hour, aircraft from here will join others from around the world. And you will be launching the largest aerial battle in the history of mankind. Mankind, that word should have new meaning for all of us today. We can't be consumed by our petty differences anymore. We will be united in our common interest. Perhaps it's fate that today is the 4th of July, and you will once again be fighting for our freedom. Not from tyranny, oppression, or persecution, but from annihilation. We're fighting for our right to live, to exist. And should we win the day, the 4th of July will no longer be known as an American holiday, but as the day when the world declared in one voice, we will not go quietly into the night.
What the hell's he saying? It seems they're getting a signal. Old Morse code. It's from the Americans. They want to organize a counter-offensive.
It's about bloody time. What do they plan to do?
We will not vanish without a fight. We're going to live on. We're going to survive.
Now wait a minute, 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 now wait a minute. Y'all thought I was finished?
Got you. We did it! The son of a bitch did it! Today, we celebrate our Independence Day.
Oh, man, I'm ready to run through a wall, America. Let's go, everybody. We are broadcasting live on United Public Radio Network and UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 on the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM in New Orleans. Of course, on UPRN's Facebook and YouTube page and Beyond the Radar's YouTube page. And we're also on Roku TV. Love you guys. I know you saw that. Check out our archives there as well, or subscribe to Beyond the Radar's podcast on Spotify for past shows. We are live on TikTok and Twitch, brand new today this week. So without further ado, I want to bring on my wonderful guests to help me describe this landmark movie, this movie that's fantastic, that really makes us all want to be American and what America is all about. So we have a quadruple or a triumvirate of guests, quadruple if you include me. Emma Saylor, Tyler Johnson, and Ian Herring. Tyler and Ian are from the Nerd Informer podcasts. So without further ado, let's bring them all on and they'll talk to you. What is up, everybody? How was that? How was that? Are we all ready to run through a wall, see fireworks, and all kinds of whatnot?
Oh, yeah. Love the
I think you're
intro.
ready.
Oh yeah.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Well, many guests might know, or many fans might know who you guys are already, but we will go and just do a quick introduction. So we'll just go left to right on my screen. Ian, you're up first. Tell everybody who you are and about Nerd Informer.
Well, we do the Nerd Informer podcast. We talk about UFOs. We talk about aliens. We do paranormal. We do anything crazy and silly and all that kind of stuff.
All right. Tyler?
Oh, yeah. Tyler Johnson here. How's it going, everyone? We started the Nerd Informer podcast just as a passion that we've had, and it's a great hobby. Started off with conspiracies, and it's just worked our way up to UAPs, UFOs, paranormal. It's a fun experience just to learn about everything.
Wonderful. And Emma, your first time on Beyond the Radar. How are you? And let everybody know a little bit about you.
Hello. So my name is Emma, and I'm an intern for Beyond the Radar. And I'm really happy to be here. I've never been on a podcast before, so I'm very excited.
Oh, well, welcome. And we'll try to take it easy on you. We're, conspiracy is not known for being the nicest, but we'll try. So, all right, everyone. So we know the mission. We chose to accept it. We played it. We watched it. We wrote details and hypotheticals about it. So, Independence Day, the 1996 thriller from Roland Emmerich, starring Will Smith, Jeff Goldblum, Bill Pullman, and a slew of other characters who you might have saw go on to play other roles, later in their careers. But it was a wonderful film. It really set off, before we get into it, I just want to say it really set off that whole catastrophe type movie that really did well for about 10 to 15 years in there. You had Independence Day. Then there was like The Day After Tomorrow, right?
Oh, yeah.
And then you had,
We had Mars
2012.
Attacks.
Mars Attacks, that's another one. It really did. It brought aliens into the blockbuster and natural disasters into a blockbuster role. Because if you guys remember back in the day, it was like a sci-fi or a made-for-TV movie if you wanted to do anything like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right, sure.
So, without further ado, let's get into the first half of the movie here. So, who all picked up when they opened up with SETI, right? And they're playing REM's It's the End of the World as we know it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
We all
Yeah,
caught
that's
that.
like one of the first things I wrote down in my notes. When I turned the movie on, I was like, there's a reason for this.
Yes, exactly. Little cue there. Not so subtle, but, sometimes they have to put it on a silver platter for a lot of fans.
Yeah.
There was, Emma, in your notes, there was a wonderful quote that you put in there. Can you read that for us?
What is it? The second quote?
Have you ever walked?
Oh, yes. So this quote I read somewhere on social media years ago, and it was in the back of my mind throughout the entire movie. And essentially, it's a hypothetical question that asks, when you're walking on a sidewalk,
Mm-hmm.
and you see a pile of ants or an anthill,
Mm-hmm.
what is your first instinct? And I would wager for most people, it is to step on the anthill or to step on the pile of ants. Whether that's a power feeling of I'm bigger so I can step on you and you're out of existence, or whether that's a simple lack of caring, however one wants to think of it as, that same question in your mind when you're walking past a pile of ants is a question that could be in the minds of extraterrestrial life when they're stopping by our planet and seeing our small little speck with our small little ants. And what's their first question in their mind? Well, they're smaller. I'll just wipe it out and keep on moving.
Yeah, you're
Hopefully it doesn't
exactly
come
right.
to that.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, and Bob, happy 4th to you too. Thank you for commenting. I thought that was pointy. I wanted to start that right off with the show before we got into it. And in the beginning of the movie, you're introduced right to the cast of characters, and I like that we don't know why they're doing this until the middle, actually second, third probably of the movie. So President has low ratings. Russell Case or Randy Quaid is an alcoholic. I mean, crop duster.
He's my favorite in the show.
Oh, absolutely.
In the movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Him and Jeff Goldblum. They're...
Absolutely. See, I'm going to go with an upset here. I'm going to go with an upset for my favorite character. I believe Robert Loggia is an American treasure, and he was just poured into that suit.
You're not wrong.
I just thought that was I had to go that way in there. He had some very peculiar head acting movements, but the rage was there, and that's all I really need. That's all I need. And then there was a little Fox on Fox crime. I don't know if anybody saw this when Jeff Goldblum and everyone's panicking and the satellites, and he comes into a mess at work. And somebody in the background says, "Well, we'd call the X-Files, but they're not on, or they're not there right now." And I thought this movie's made by Fox. X-Files was obviously the biggest show at the time there, so little Fox on Fox crime. And let's get into the size of these crafts, okay? I wrote down that the main one, so the one in outer space, was a quarter side of the moon, which was about 550 miles.
Right.
That's insane.
That is ungodly.
Massive.
I have to question. I mean, this comes later, but when they fly into the mothership, they kind of get right to the central command fairly quickly. Now, if it's 550 miles, that's on them for putting it right near the beginning, right near the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The poor use of real estate, I think.
It is. Yeah. I mean, they could just fly right up to it, and they did, and shot something into it. I guess they ran low on budget.
Probably.
Yeah. So, and then all of the little ships I wrote down, they said were 15 miles in width. So, you guys know I'm in Philadelphia, or right around Philadelphia. I wanted to give a geographical sense of what, the big one, the 550 miles. So, I kind of did like a circle. That's Philadelphia to Detroit is closer than 550 miles. Philadelphia to Cincinnati, Philadelphia to Myrtle Beach.
Wow.
Those are all closer. So, this thing was pretty
massive.
Yeah,
Wow.
massive indeed. All right, so they start coming in through the the atmosphere. They start touching down, strategically placing their pieces, right? Because chess has seemed to be a theme of this movie, especially the early part, right?
Mm-hmm.
They settle over, was it New York, DC, and LA? Now this is 1995. Would you think that's a good 3, or do you think you would have probably done different?
For what they were doing, I think as many people there are population-wise in those cities, I think it was perfectly set where they were.
I agree.
I mean,
from a population standpoint, sure, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly
So
Miami.
Standpoint, I get that. I thought for me personally, why didn't they set up one over like Chicago and then have the Midwest go down? You know what I mean? West Coast one, and then
I didn't even think put it in Chicago. That would have probably
New York and LA, boom, top 2.
Yeah,
but DC, well, that is our central command, so that probably makes sense. Where everybody is, but
it's funny that they knew to go over the White House as well. It's pretty cool, but they just didn't choose a random spot. It was the White House, so they had to have known.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that shows that they've been watching us for
Yeah.
some time. They have an understanding of our structure and how we operate.
You're right, because in that they were watching us for our satellites, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yep.
And I think somebody said something in the part of that is like they're using our own satellites against us or something like that.
Yep.
But definitely, you know, smart thinking by those guys. But it makes you think, like, they kind of talk telepathically. So how did they understand our language? Where was the mole? Where was, you know what I mean? Like, where was the decipher?
Well, there was that part where I forget the guy's name, but he was the father who sacrificed himself.
Oh, yeah.
Russell.
Yes, Russell. He claimed he was abducted by aliens, so there could have been some sort of learning on that front. Like, obviously,
That's true. Yeah.
Whacked out, but he could have been correct. He could have gotten abducted, and that's part of how the aliens learned our language.
Yeah,
It's a good way to look at it.
That makes that certainly makes the link to how they know about our structures and all that stuff, and that makes sense.
I like to think that he was abducted by them and not another alien species.
Yeah, yeah. One's fine. No more than one. Just one's fine.
But yeah, it's just cruel and unusual if you get multiple races of aliens abducting you.
Yeah.
So,
did anyone catch too that they went to multiple planets to wipe out the species, as in human species? Was there another planet that they've gone to that was just like us? That's what I wondered.
Right. They did mention that.
You know what I mean? They did. And so it's like, how many times have they gone to a planet where there were people just as smart as us, if they're humans?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Very good point, because they certainly had it down to a science.
Oh, yeah. I want to know what kind of resources they were taking.
That's a good point, too. That was left out. They said all natural resources.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really see a need for gold. What they would do with it, what they would do, unless they have
some unknown element or something that planets have that they need to run their ship.
It could go down so far to, any kind of mineral or.
Yeah. And you're right, Bob. Multiple colony theory. They might have a hive mind.
Yeah.
It certainly was insect-like when they got inside, and there was like like whatever they call them. You know what I mean? It looked like bugs living in a hive more than species. You know what I mean? Like humanoid species with houses or bunks or whatever you want to call it. So who's to say? And then you realize that wasn't the only one of them. So there was multiple colonies. He's right. To take over whatever. But they certainly had it down to a science. So. All right, they settle over New York, D.C., L.A. It gets to the point, as you saw in the clip, that shoot this energy beam down, and once it's on target, they shoot something else, like some ball that comes down and blows everything up, and not just stops there, but is more of like a radius type weapon. You know what I mean? That keeps going out as it was, which
a lot more powerful than an atom bomb. Or like a nuke.
Oh, a lot more.
Like the radius was huge. You can see it in multiple scenes.
Yes, the radius was huge. It wouldn't surprise me if they know about our planet. They know what resources is there. It would be some sort of oxygen accelerant. You know what I mean? Where with the oxygen in the air, it's going to keep growing. You know what I mean? Kind of like gasoline to a fire.
And just watching it, that's what happened. It just kept going and going.
Yeah.
Just like, it wasn't slowing down.
No. But it wasn't.
And they would have and they would probably have an understanding, because the doctor did say that they breathed air like us and their bodies were fragile, just as fragile as ours.
Absolutely.
So their planet may be relatively similar to ours.
Mm-hmm.
It could be. It could be. If you want to get in conspiracy, it could be a early warning for us that if we don't. If we use everything up on this planet, we're going to have to do what they do and go find stuff at other planets. Like we wouldn't do that already.
All I know is I want one of those
on the moon. We would have it.
Yeah.
I want one of the suits they have. They say it's it looked more like an organic element that's they're inside of, but they call it like what did they call it?
Biomechanical.
Biomechanical,
Yeah.
yeah. So it went two different ways. When you see it and when they cut it open, it looks very organic.
It did look organic. There was like tissue.
Yeah.
There was, I don't know, goo, blood, whatever you want to call it. Like there was all kinds of stuff there that, and then it sprung open, and they had a nice laugh before the finger started to move, and that, that was one of the. See, they don't do scary like they used to. There was no jump scare there, but it really freaked you out when you first saw it.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Uh-oh.
I gotta say they're probably one of my favorite looking alien species with that suit on. How they did it, like to this day, it seems like, I mean, a lot of they can't beat it. Like I've always liked the look of them. Even like in the store when you see them action figure wise, they just look so badass. I remember when they were in stores, they were selling them. That's how long ago it was. But
and they didn't make him humanoid like. You see a lot of alien reports of 2 arms, 2 legs, very humanoid type. And they made him very different, which, if you listen to Neil deGrasse Tyson talk about aliens, he talks about it a lot. He would expect them to be very different than mankind. He would expect them to have, you wouldn't really know what to expect from them. They could be a blob or something or whatever, but they should be very different than us. So they did a good job on that.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. And I kind of got into this with talking to Emma about it because this was still the time where they still made things and everything wasn't made on a computer after the fact.
Yeah.
So those suits, you had a costume and set design team that probably worked for months to get that.
Oh yeah.
For their, I mean, what was that scene though? Where they were in the tube. I mean, what was that? 3 minutes, if that?
Yeah.
I'm sure they worked for months to get that to work. And props on them. No pun intended. But they really put in the work because when that thing was in a tube, you almost felt the sense that, oh, that could have been real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas you might not have that with other scenes and movies. So, all right, they destroy us. We launch a counterattack. We get annihilated, right?
It was a very weak counterattack.
It was bringing the quintessential bringing a knife to a gunfight.
Yeah.
They have shields. They have faster easily maneuvering ships. We're in a hollowed out piece of tinfoil.
I love the lights they use to try to communicate with the helicopters.
Yeah,
that's just a bad idea.
That was the most ridiculous part of the movie to me because why would they know what those lights meant
and what sequence they were doing them in?
Yeah,
I'm like, no.
There was no sequence to them that made sense to anybody. I didn't know what the hell they meant, and I'm from here.
Yeah. How would you? You know what they did? They sent that man to the grave, and they knew damn well they were sending him to the grave.
Finally, someone said it.
He was a test monkey, and he was just going to see what would happen.
They're like, here's an idea. Why don't you get in that and go up there and flash these lights at them, and we'll see what happens.
It'll probably be fine.
Yeah. Oh, here's one.
A lot of it was like a suicide mission.
Yeah. It was.
Yeah,
he signed up for it. I wonder how many zeros were on that check because they know they weren't going to have to pay.
And it's funny the react every time someone died too. Like halfway through the movie, there was like no reaction of them dying. It was just like blinking. I mean, they didn't even care every time. Yeah, oh, it progressed to that, but it's hilarious. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but
definitely. They were just all right, boop, and they were gone. They even showed that one scene of their like light up fighter jets, and it's like red, and you knew what red meant. So but what was
it's the military.
Oh, right in there. So this is what I wanted to say. Right in there, they had like a fake television, like news, like a news anchor. And it was like the circle with the red line through it. And it was a guy with a gun shooting at it.
Yeah.
I loved that part. I laughed so hard because, yes, you do need to remind people not to take their gun out and shoot at it.
Yeah.
The police are reminding Los Angelinos to not fire the weapons.
I thought it was also funny that they introduced the aspect of people who were totally for an alien invasion. Her just like up right below the spaceship, and instead of fleeing at this big giant thing in the sky, they're like have these signs calling them, beckoning them to come down and say hello.
That
Like,
that
I
would
don't think the big
100%
scary
happen.
thing in the sky wants to
Guaranteed.
say hi. I don't
Yeah.
think it just wants to
It's-
say hi.
I think there
It's
would be
true.
people doing that. Yeah.
Absolutely,
No, as much as
100%
things
that would
change,
happen.
As much as things change, they stay the same.
Yeah.
There's exactly the same reaction. New York starts fighting each other. LA wants to get on board.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
DC moves out of they moved everybody out of there and just let them all burn.
So exactly what would happen. There'd be people in LA embracing the newness, and then
Yep.
New York, everybody punching each other, man
Yep.
for themselves, and then you have DC just getting on their big private jet, flying away from
Yeah.
there.
It's exactly how it happens in today without aliens in the exact same order.
But you know what's not realistic? Not realistic is the president getting in the fighter pilot and just started attacking the aliens.
You
It's
know,
like that would never happen.
yeah,
Never.
that would never happen. Let's think back to presidents. Let's use our 7th grade, history class, and vote for which president would be most likely to get into the plane.
It's easy for me. The most recent one would probably be Reagan, I think.
You think Reagan would?
I think Reagan probably would. Maybe a younger
He's too
Reagan. But
idolized.
That or
I would probably put
John F.
JFK.
Kennedy.
He's
Yeah.
young enough.
I would agree.
they,
Definitely.
yeah, okay. JFK would probably do it.
I think those two would be my same picks, JFK or Reagan.
Yeah.
But just to throw a wild one in there, maybe Trump. He had enough and has enough anger in him. He would be fine.
I could go with that.
Yeah, in that aspect,
He has
yeah.
some anger in him.
Yeah.
I could see
Certainly
it.
not Taft.
Yeah.
No.
He got stuck in a bathtub. He ain't getting in no fighter cockpit.
No.
if he does, he's not getting out.
No.
Yeah. Well, talk about suicide mission. All right. So they get into the plane. They're flying across country. They have this argument about nukes. The Secretary of Defense neglects to tell everybody that there's Area 51 is a real thing. And they have a recovered craft. They go there. They see them in the tube. David just so happens to be on the flight because he went down to D.C. to see his ex-wife, or I guess they're separated. They might not be divorced, but he figures out that if he can infect it with a virus, he can disorient and remove that shield with that dramatic scene of a wild scene, by the way, where he lets him fire a live round and it starts boomeranging all over the place. Wild.
Then you hear
But-
it take blast. It's hilarious. Just the sound effects they use in that one.
Yeah. Pew, pew, pew,
Yep.
pew. So, and then someone, well, how would an interstellar shield sound? Oh, I think it would sound like this. Nobody knows. Nobody has any idea. So he figures that out. They need to fly that up into the mothership. They need to dock it there. They need to upload the virus. They do. If you remember, this is when Bill Pullman gets into the cockpit. Robert Loggia is like, "What are you doing?" And he agrees, I guess, to let him go. They fired. Do you guys remember that they fired the first missile and the shield was still up, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I like that. Being in IT, it's not going. The ship had to refresh. They had to hit the
Yeah.
circle, and then
Yeah.
so it had to
It was
refresh.
It was buffering.
And how it
Yeah.
flawed the first time. They gave it one shot, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Get out of there. It's not gonna work.
Yeah.
Never mind. Just leave."
I
and I'm
think
like,
because that
guys-
attack was a little more civilian. I know it's the
Yes,
president,
for sure. Yeah.
but remember they were rounding people up from the RV yard.
Oh yeah.
You had people flying in Nam, and then a crop duster who literally sobered up, had his first cup of coffee that day, sitting there. You know what I mean?
He's such a
And
classic
you're gonna
character.
get a crash course in modern avionics, and he's sitting there drunk as a skunk.
I always look at him as Eddie.
Yeah,
well,
he's
I
always going to
Yeah.
be Eddie.
You know
He'll
what I mean?
always be a.
Just conspiracy theorist. Hopefully he was abducted, so it made sense.
He's still alive, right?
Yeah, I think
I
so.
believe so.
Okay.
Just out of the fame now.
Now, well, good for him. He's one of the smart ones. So they start taking him down. You guys remember they run out of missiles. Randy has one left. It jams. My luck. My luck.
Yep. No, I'm with you.
Yeah, same here,
Yep.
dude. Same here.
Yeah. So he decides he's going to fly right up it when they fire their missile. He jams it, blows the whole ship up. Get on the horn and tell them how to take all the sons of bitches down, and they start tapping away and all of that kind of stuff. Here's one thing. Let me start this little hypothetical. Here's one thing. Is it because he had his missile with him? Or is it because he jammed the ship? How did they take all the rest of them down? Did somebody have to shoot a missile up there, or did they have to find someone to sacrifice every other one?
I would like to think they would have to use it.
Yeah, I think they were saying that this is how you do it. You got to do it this way. If you have a missile that can get up in there.
Yeah. But it has to be opening, and they have to know when it opens. I mean,
Right.
stand around and have a jet flying around in circles until that happens. But you'd think they would just
if his missile didn't jam, he could have just
on the outside. Then Right. Hold all your fire until we get underneath of it,
right?
And use your machine gun because remember you saw the machine gun could kill the little ones.
Right.
Yeah,
so save your missiles until you get under there. Yeah, you're probably right about that. I also thought he could have ejected right at the end.
I was
like,
the same thing.
Well, I thought that, and then I was like, well, it's going to take 10 full minutes for him to land, right?
Yeah.
So let's say he doesn't get hit by something because it looked like a swarm of bees under there. So let's say he didn't get hit by anything. That's a 15-mile wide thing coming down. There's going to be no way to outrun it, right? To run.
Yeah, no way.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so. Oh, you're right on that.
And the ships weren't super high in the sky. Like when they went over the cities, that's what was weird to me. They looked like they were very low.
Yeah. Well, from the beginning parts, when they had the Empire State Building and then that other building in L.A., where it was launching wasn't that far. You're right.
Right.
So if they were going to do that to Area 51, they're not going to be that high off the ground either. So you're right about that. They wanted to be up close.
Yeah, if you're in a city, if they're over a big city, you might not even be able to get a jet.
That's when you need
under
a drone,
there,
like a huge drone.
That's a great point.
But at that time, we didn't have. I don't know if in that.
Yeah, I mean, we probably had them, but
technology to do that accurately.
There you go, Ian. You got a fan. Look at that.
Well, thank you.
Ian set up his gas.
Yeah, it's my axe. I love that. Have you fellas seen the sequel? Yes, I have. Has anyone else?
No.
I don't think
Obviously
I have
not.
watched it. To be honest, I just like the original, and I knew.
Yeah, no, I don't think I ever watched the second one.
Fair enough.
Did anyone notice that when they shot the first nuke at it in Texas, that they just pretty much I don't know if they killed everyone underneath. It just
yeah, they did.
Annihilated.
They killed everybody.
Like they had to take a chance, but they killed everyone with that nuke, and it didn't even touch that ship.
Yeah. No,
it's funny. Like I just thought it was funny that that's how they would have done it.
And what a way to save on graphics and CGI by to do it in the dark and not show anybody the explosion.
Yeah.
Yep, just the aftermath.
All you saw was this neon green light, kind of like my background would be on the radar. That's all you saw.
Oh yeah.
Then it came back up and cars were, you saw the aftermath.
You think they would shoot the nuke at it
Budgeting
on
101
top?
in Hollywood, everybody.
You think they would use that nuke and put it on top of the ship, not on the side of the ship, where the effects of the blast could have went somewhere else instead of the city. It's just funny how they always shot up the side, but they didn't try any other angle. I mean, I guess that's where they entered.
Maybe that was their intelligence. You know what I mean? Like we have to think that we have to do some counterintelligence on it, but who knows? So we have a commercial break we're going to, but Emma, you unfortunately have to leave us. Tell Emma about where they can find you, and you'll be back on, I'm sure.
Yes. So I do have an Instagram page that you can follow me at, just my first and last name with a period in the middle. But I've enjoyed talking with you guys, and I really enjoyed the movie. So thank you for having me on here.
No, thank you for being on. We appreciate it. And, who knows? Maybe Nerd Informer will reach out to you, too.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
All right, Emma. And we're going to go to commercial break. We'll see everyone back and discuss the hypotheticals. We got a few questions.
All right.
Awesome.
All right.
See you later.
4 in 10 people believe in ghosts. Over a third of people believe intelligent life exists outside of Earth. 43% of you believe demons exist. We invite you to Beyond the Radar, your paranormal news show. If it's unexplained phenomena happening daily around the globe, we're talking about it. Exploring the unexplained, challenging the conventional, and diving deep into the shadows that lurk just beyond our perception. Come join the transmission on the United Public Radio Network. Once you come, you'll never be the same.
Meet Daniel Knight, a psychologist with an extraordinary gift to absorb and heal the deepest wounds of the mind. In the heart of a chilling investigation, every secret unraveled binds him closer to darkness. But as he delves into the psyche of a killer, his own demons emerge. Caught in a battle within and against an evil that seeks to exploit his powers, where the line between savior and victim blurs. Dare to heal the wounds of the mind. Healer. Read it today.
Do you want to reach millions with your product or service? Are you looking to connect with a diverse, intelligent, and engaged audience? Then look no further. Beyond the Radar radio show is your golden ticket to achieving just that. Our listeners are curious, open-minded, and always eager to learn. They value quality, authenticity, and innovation, just like your brand. With Beyond the Radar, your advertisement will be heard by millions of dedicated listeners. Our show covers a wide range of topics, attracting a diverse audience that could be your next loyal customers. So why wait? Take your brand to Beyond the Radar and into the hearts and minds of millions. Advertise with us. Let's explore the extraordinary together. Beyond the Radar radio show, where your brand meets a world of curious minds. Contact us today for advertising opportunities at www.beyondtheradarnews.com and fill out our contact form. We hope to talk to you soon.
Samantha survives a tragic accident thanks to Lucian, an enigmatic being. Her newfound abilities catch the attention of a secretive government agency. Drawn to Lucian despite the danger, Samantha is unaware of his true identity. She teams up with Lucian's brothers in a daring mission to rescue him. Accused unfairly, Lucian seeks refuge on his distant homeworld. Can Samantha prove Lucian's innocence and save their forbidden love? From the Sky by J.E. Nicasio. Available now. Get your copy on Amazon and BNN.
Have you ever looked up at the night sky and wondered what lies beyond? Have you ever felt a sense of curiosity about mysterious lights darting across the sky? If so, my UFO 101 Unveiling the Unknown course is just for you. This course is a comprehensive introduction into the fascinating world of unidentified flying objects and extraterrestrial life. It is designed for beginners, so no prior knowledge is required. I am your instructor, Tom. I am an author, podcast host, and seasoned researcher in the field ready to debunk common myths and misconceptions. So are you ready to embark on an exciting journey to unravel the secrets of the universe? Join us at UFO 101 Unveiling the Unknown, and let's explore the unknown together. Don't let this free opportunity fly away. Enroll now and start your journey into the intriguing world of UFOs and extraterrestrial life.
We're back.
All right, everyone, welcome back to Beyond the Radar 105.3 on the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM in New Orleans. Feel free to comment your questions, talk to us on the show. We are TikTok, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, all the main players there. And, of course, you can text us at 484-283-5328 on our text board. That's 484-283-5328. And let's check out that text board, guys. Let's see what the people have to say. Ooh, we have some. I love that. I should have said that when Emma was here. That was Bella in Colorado. I love that quote. Well, thank you, Bella. Buster, good name. Buster in Nebraska. Or New England. Not probably Nebraska. I wonder if this led to MIB in any way for Will Smith.
It could have.
Maybe. It could have.
Maybe.
I like that idea.
Yeah. I mean, they're like, all right, he's comfortable with aliens. But
That's-
anyway, that's another
It's a cool thing to think about. If
blockbuster
it
alien movie we forgot
went that
about
way.
too. Tim in Mississippi, 105.3 on the Gulf Coast of Mississippi. Tim, thank you for listening. They should have tried splashing with water. Ooh, I like that. I don't know if that's a shot at M. Night, Philadelphia's own M. Night Shyamalan, or a shot at Signs, but very nice. Very nice, subtle way to get that dig in.
I like it.
Granby. You don't meet too many Granbys, guys. Granby in NOLA, 107.7 FM in New Orleans. Mr. Nimzicki was the real heel of that movie. What do you guys think about that one?
The real.
Do you know who he is?
I'm trying to think of.
He was the Secretary of Defense, the skinny, white, taller guy that
Yeah, the one that got fired. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I can see your point for that. I can see an argument to be made for that.
Well, you know what? He played his character really well, because if you have that guttural hate for him playing a role, that means he did his job well.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, and they're probably more like that than not, where there's always finding alternative means to get their agenda across.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Last one, Fran in Iowa. I don't think I've had an Iowa. Well, hello, Fran. How did you guys, they talked about the potential ground invasion at the end of the movie. How did you guys see the potential ground invasion going? How do you think it would have happened? Let's do it that way.
Potential ground invasion. I can't imagine it would have worked out very well for us.
Yeah. That, and if it got to that point, how would they do it? Are they just going to crash their ships? They can't, because they, like they said in the beginning, like they died crashing their ships. It's like, well, first off, how would they get on the ground?
They don't really
safely?
show how they move exactly. The only time you ever really see one alive is in the ship. Well, when Will Smith first takes him out.
Yeah, but he was in the
he was in the
that chamber. The laboratory. Sorry, the laboratory.
When I see them walking though on, like, I would say their ankles.
Yeah,
I'm like, there's no way they can run that fast.
Yeah.
But maybe they can, because it's a suit. It's not.
Well, it's tall. Yeah, I would imagine it would be, you know what I mean, like bouncy. You know what I mean? Yeah. So they might be able to cover ground, but they definitely skip leg day. I can tell you that.
In that scene in the laboratory, he does run at him pretty quickly and grab him.
Yeah.
Right before the scientist backs up, and you see him just across the screen running super fast at one guy to grab him. So, I mean, they could move pretty quick.
Well, here's one thing. Those shields did not go to that one in the laboratory. So when they were on the ground, if they would be completely unshielded, right? Mm-hmm. They shot it through the glass and killed it right there.
Yeah.
So if you can, that's one point in the human side. You know what I mean? If you're keeping, I mean, now they got 1,000, but that is one to the.
And they only killed it. They only killed it because they opened them up and shot the organic.
Right. If they all have their
suit
outfit on, yeah,
it's probably heavily, armored.
But Will Smith knocked one out with one on, so I don't know.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, he punched him.
Yeah, he punched him and knocked him out.
Yeah.
He was already in an accident.
But that goes to Tyler's point of it more. They say biomechanical. Could that have been an error? Because
I think it was.
Yeah, I didn't see anything mechanical necessarily.
Unless it's an organic, it's just an organic suit that's just over, mechanic. I don't know how to describe it, but like a metal suit. I don't know. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think that's where they messed up, because of you're looking for, that structure of their body to be metal, but it's definitely organic.
Well, let me put it this way, Tyler. They tell you to put on this. Remember what it would look like when they cut it all off? That thing was tiny, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And you got to put all of this shit on, and you still get knocked out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I'm wondering, when they're flying
that on.
Yeah. When they're flying the ship, are they wearing the suit, or are they not in the suit? That's why they died.
Well, they were wearing a suit when he had crashed.
So how much? It doesn't.
The small ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if they wear it on the mothership or not. Maybe they don't wear it on the mothership.
They were all wearing it.
They were
all okay.
And they had smaller, really tinier ships for troops walking on.
Yeah.
So, I guess excuse me. I guess that, when they take out all the major city centers, then they move on and drop soldiers, you know what I mean, on.
And they really don't have to do much except, send a signal to your brain, like telepathically, to put you down.
Oh, that's true.
So
the only time you're going to kill it is when you sneak up or you get the drop on him from a hill or something. You know what I mean? You're never going to be able to stand face to face and get it.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
And I want to know if they can use that ability when they have the suit on, or is it just when you look in their, see their eyes? Because it seems like it's always their eyes. They make it known that they're looking at them. So
that's true. Yeah.
So what do you do if you're in this situation? Do you stay in the cities, or do you get the hell out and go into the mountains somewhere? Like, eventually they're going to get to you, right? Assuming that they're successful.
Yeah. I mean, if we take a little bit from a different alien invasion movie, like A Quiet Place, right?
Yeah.
There is some cohabitation, but you need to evolve as a human to not use sound and things like that.
Sure.
I could see a similar thing with that, where let's say you go to the mountains and things like that. If you aren't destroying their whatever they use to mine the resources and then move on, would it matter?
I think it depends on the resources that they're actually mining or trying to.
I wish they explained it further.
Yeah, I do too.
Because at that point, like, if it went on and they realize that we can destroy their ships, are they gonna coexist with us like they wanted to, instead of be threatening? Because now they know that we have the upper hand and we can take them out just as easy.
I think so. There was this one show back in the day, and it was on Discovery, and I can't remember for the life of me the name of it. It was like Life or something like that, but it asked hypothetical questions. Could we live forever? Could we, you know what I mean? What would it take to live forever? What would it take to cure cancer? Something like that. But one of them was the alien invasion. And they said the best course of action we could do is just put up enough of defense that they say, you know what, F them. You know what I mean? It's not worth it.
Not worth
it.
It's
a worth. Yeah. Right.
That's what I think we did by destroying the ships that were here on Earth.
Right.
I think
if they wanted to gun it and they said, you know what, I mean? Send it.
Yeah.
We probably didn't have enough weapons. We didn't have enough fighter pilots. We didn't have enough machinery to keep up with it. They could have wore our ass out, especially without our satellites to, talk around the world.
Right.
But since we took them down, let's just go to the next planet. Whatever. You know what I mean? Or we'll come back, which in the second they actually did. But, I think just putting up a defense to be, annoying, that's our hope.
Yeah, maybe.
I would hope that we'd reverse engineer one of the ships.
Yes.
You know
the
what
big
I mean?
ones?
Oh,
Or the
both.
little-
Both.
Okay.
I mean, if you could get to the big ones and access it with taking out everyone in that massive ship, but
Well, it sounds like they were trying, when they had the ship. They learned a lot. He said they learned a lot about it.
Yeah, but he listed like 5 things, and they had it for 60 years.
Yeah.
They didn't even know it was running until they took it off the locks.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. It literally couldn't land.
Yeah.
All right, so into the questions, some of the ones Emma made up. If aliens invaded the world and you were in the movie, which character would you identify with first or most?
Probably. I'm gonna say Russell, just because he's crazy conspiracy guy, and he's sticking to his story the entire time about him being abducted. I mean, I just like his character, and what he did. I mean, it sucks
I
when he
like
died.
I like David, the Jeff Goldblum character.
Yeah.
He's a smart guy. He has an understanding of what's happening. It's hard to get his point across sometimes, apparently, but
yeah.
I like he's very strategic in every move, and he thinks about everything. Where it's just a game of chess to him, and
his facial expressions. I don't care, every movie that he's in, he always has the best facial expressions.
Absolutely. I mean, this was. I made sure to pause at one scene where it was Will Smith and Jeff Goldblum standing next to each other because they were the 90s.
100%.
You know what I mean? So they knew what they were doing, and it was great. As much as I want to say Will Smith, I am not a Will Smith
No.
As much as I want to say the president, I'm not that president. But I feel like I'm going to go back to Robert Loggia. I could be that character. I can second guess and then try to save lives.
That works.
You don't actually have to do anything. You just have to kind of use
just
your
let me
brain
wear a
little bit.
suit, have a bunch of medals, and tell people what to do, and I'm happier than a pig and crap.
Yeah.
So, all right, next one. With the use of today's technology, how would we have responded differently today compared to 1995?
The only thing I can think of maybe we do differently is we would use drones to try to start the fight. We would still probably try to nuke them and all that stuff. So I still think we're dumb enough to do that.
We would.
But I think drones would only be the real difference, maybe.
And I wonder if lasers would penetrate that because it's light going through it.
Yeah,
a missile. Then
the shield, you mean?
Combustible weapon.
Mm-hmm. Then
that's a good point. The alt. Let's think of the alt weapons. An EMF.
EMP.
I'm sorry. EMP might be more effective than a gun.
Yeah.
If this thing could get a virus
that easily,
then it's susceptible
an EMP
to an EMP
might crash it from the sky.
Yeah.
And if you turned everything off, there's nothing on to receive that shield.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And then you're just carpet bombing at that point.
Yeah, you could have just done an EMP to the satellites. You know what I mean? They couldn't communicate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine that one that was sitting there high and mighty in the castle, right? That was looking at all the screens and whatnot. Imagine if that all just went blank.
Right.
I can see it.
I think maybe an EMP would be pretty good. If they're as sensitive to stuff as we are, then you can look into like those sound weapons, like Cuba.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yep. Oh yeah. Just give it back to them. You know what I mean? They do the same thing to put you down. Just put sound into their brain.
Let's get Boston Robotics, and we'll come. They have a biomechanical suit. We'll send the dogs after them.
I like it.
Yeah. You're like, all right, hold on. Let me strap myself in.
Yeah.
All right, come here.
I think the EMP would hurt us too. It would take a lot of our stuff out also. So I think that would
look
be.
At nukes. We love hurting ourselves when we.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But no, an EMP would.
And all you'd have to do.
We
is
love using
EMP.
weapons that we don't know how to protect ourselves against.
Right.
Is what I'm trying to say.
Yep.
Because it would take our planes out of the sky. It would take our delivery system.
You would
out
just
of the
have to
sky,
send that EMP to the mothership in space, and then it would down all.
Yeah, if you could do that, I think you might be able to do it. But then I don't know how they work in space. Maybe there's a component of that we don't know.
Yeah. Create a black hole.
Yeah.
We're all cool.
It sucks the whole Earth in.
I did see that part where the satellite crashed into the side of it and it made an explosion with fire, and I'm like, false.
I thought the same exact thing. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. Yep.
Yeah,
I thought the same thing. I'm like, I don't think you can do that.
Yeah. But, old Roland, he's like, nah, put it in.
Yeah. They'll never catch it.
They won't. What is everyone's opinion on Area 51? I think we might have briefly talked about this before, but just in case anybody new is listening.
Fun to me. And I kind of go back to a Bob Lazar interview where he talks about S4, which is another site that's kind of in the area or whatever. But he said that most of the stuff that was happening in like S4 and those other areas. And I've read a lot of different things about Area 51 and researched a lot of things about Area 51. And it just seems like maybe it started out as, okay, this is going to be our site, but they weren't very good at keeping it under wraps. So then they had to move it and they just let it ride that Area 51 was the place. It's kind of a distraction.
Yeah.
I could see it as that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wish there was a whistleblower these days for Area 51. Like new ones that we can.
I think that would be the next step if you had like somebody our age.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And not to like ageism or anything like that, but if it was somebody who could speak to you, it would just throw that much more gasoline on this fire.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
I saw this program on Area 51 where the even just the regular, administrative workers had to park and fly in.
Yep.
Land.
They flew everybody in, yeah.
Yes. And I think when you became that secretive, it's impossible to keep that secret. Now, I'm not saying people are going and blabbermouthing anything, but people are going to just be like, where are they all going? It would probably look like a cult, wouldn't it? Go into a local
You would
airport.
think so, and it has to be
Everybody
like
wearing
everyone
the
at
same thing.
Yeah.
Well, that's what makes me think that it's probably a decoy at this point, and not the monstrosity that I don't think you could do that in the day and age with technology and social media.
With that and people with their loved ones, like, are they going to really not tell them?
It has to be, back, in the 60s and 70s, you didn't have the outlets that you have now. And all you had to do is not tell the dude sitting next to you, Now you got to not tell the world. Like, how hard is it to, I'd be on a podcast, be like, yo, let me tell you what I saw. You know what I mean? Like, but they didn't do that back then.
With you and the dead alien.
Yeah. So I think that, if you could get somebody that worked at like S4 or something, and that's probably a much tighter group of people now that they've learned what happened at Area 51, that maybe it's a much tighter group of people, smaller group, and they understand, like, if you tell, we will know it's you, and we will come after you.
Because they're probably like kept into only specific areas there where only they know about that one program, and someone next to them is working on a completely.
Well, that's exactly the way that Bob Lazar explains it. Was the guys next door and the next hangar over didn't even know what you were doing.
Yeah.
You did your job. It's like working at a car plant. You hang doors on a body, and it goes to the next guy to hang the wiring. You know what I mean? Like, that was very compartmental. Didn't even know what everybody was doing.
I remember hearing that where, even more lately with David Grush on Joe Rogan, he said the same thing, where, all we do is this, and we don't ask what happened before, and you don't ask what happened after it. It comes to you. I did this, and that's all I did. Because of that reason, where if somebody spoke, I only spoke about what I did, and you don't know the whole thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
And really, that train of passing things off to the next station was probably 30, 40 things deep, where, what you started with is nowhere near what you're going to end up with.
You probably couldn't put it together if you tried, with there's so many different paths that it goes down.
And you think of people with those kind of jobs and do that they are so heavily monitored with microphones in their phones.
Well, that's how Bob Lazar got popped, was he was making phone calls to his wife, and they were monitoring every single phone call, and
now
that's kind of how it came out.
It's even easier. You don't even have to be on a phone if they're listening. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like, that's how I look at it. But,
so again, hi to our NSA agent. Hope you like it. Like and subscribe. We won't tell. But no, I'm definitely in on all of the decoy stuff. Let it stay out there. It'll stay out there as long as people are talking about it.
Yeah.
But the real stuff is Nellis. The real stuff is Right Pat. And there's a North Carolina one that I'm losing the name right now. But that's where the real material is going. And they're going to hang out Area 51 right there for everybody. But also, it's a lot easier to keep secrets over there back in the 60s, 70s, 80s under the guise of a Cold War where you had a threat. You had somebody of equal standing. In our life, it's been a Middle East battle, you know what I mean, for the majority of our life. You can't tell me that they're on equal footing for fear than what the Soviets were, who helped you defeat Hitler in World War II, off the heels of that.
Yep, absolutely.
It's somebody who, all right, we have to be smart. We have to, keep quiet. In the fear-mongering, how loud people were allowed the government to keep a check on people that, no, you need to not talk about this because you never know who's a Russian spy.
Yeah.
And it worked. Where today, you don't know who's an Iraqi spy. We would say, who gives a crap? Let them tell them. I'll tell them. I'll call them. You know what I mean? They don't have. It's not the same threat. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, for sure.
So, again, happy 4th to both of you. We're winding down here.
All right.
I'm going to let you guys have a couple minutes. Go ahead and tell everyone about Nerd Informer and where they can find you. And everybody listening, please go give them a follow. They're wonderful guys. Hopefully, I can be back on their show. That's a casual invite onto yours. So,
next
by all
topic.
means, go ahead, guys. Time's yours.
You can find the Nerd Informer on YouTube, Spotify, anywhere pretty much you have podcasts. We're there. We usually do an hour and a half, whatever. We just talk about all kinds of stuff, conspiracy theories, UFOs, aliens, anything. I kind of want to do a crypto show pretty soon. I want to get on some cryptocurrency. It's kind of a nerd thing to talk about.
And AI.
And AI for sure. So yeah, that's kind of what we do, and that's where you can find us.
Tyler, anything?
Pretty much the same thing. Yeah, if you guys ever have questions, feel free to write us and contact us. I mean, we're on TikTok, like Ian was saying, YouTube, Spotify. Yeah, just reach out to us if you guys ever want to hop on.
You can message us on Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook's an easy one for us to both see it right away. You guys would have a great time on our podcast. I mean, we always keep it interesting and make you guys laugh.
Absolutely. These guys are wonderful. Great jobs, great podcasts. And please use some of our guests. Nicole right here. She's going to be she would be a wonderful guest for you. Emma, myself, keep it all in the UPRN family, and grow with us, all that kind of stuff. They're great follows and they're great supporters of the show, so please support them as well. We have been broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network, the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 in Mississippi and 107.7 FM in New Orleans. We've also been airing live on Roku TV. You can catch the archives there or subscribe to Beyond the Radar, Spotify for past shows. Thank you all for tuning in. A wonderful episode, and happy 4th to all of you. Everybody have a good weekend.
Have a good one.